In today's world, leadership takes many forms. My guest is an astute businessman, fitness coach, and a father. A renowned figure in the fitness and nutrition industry, a man skilled in the mechanics of sales, and a voice and authority on the intricacies of modern masculinity, balancing the worlds of business, wellness, and family. My guest brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to the table. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Chris Law.
This is our third interaction. The first time I was like I was saying off air was in 2019. We shook hands. It was very brief. And then I went to your shop recently, and man, it was so natural. It was so raw. It was like we knew each other for years.
For sure.
And I feel like that's one of your skills though, is being involved with people. I feel like your niche is very people-like.
Yeah.
Did that come very early in your life?
I think it's always been that way. Like my mom used to say when I was a little kid, like she would have my little brothers and stuff, and she'd be taking care of them, and I would want to jump in. I was very empathetic, very sympathetic, right?
Yeah.
So I loved taking care of my little brothers, loved bottle feeding them, doing all that kind of stuff at a super young age. And my mom was like, I don't even know where that came from,
Yes.
But ever since then, I've always loved kids. That's always been a passion of mine, is helping people.
Yeah. Did you have that at a young age too?
Very young.
Really?
I've always been. I've always considered myself kind of like the leader of the pack. And so I've always put, one of the leadership roles is taking care of others.
Yeah.
Making others better.
And I feel like, man, because like what I respect about you, you're, like I was saying off air, you're a father and you're a businessman. And your business is very people orientated, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's very, say, the fitness realm. We are solving problems when it comes to people's health, people's fitness, physicality, their nutrition. That's a lot of problems.
Oh, for sure.
But being able to solve those problems is very tough, I would say, per client, right? I feel like every client brings a different thing to the table.
Absolutely. And that's one of the cool things, right? Is I get to interact with so many different people from so many different walks of life that are experiencing little roadblocks.
Yeah.
Whether that's some sort of athletic injury or something that they need to rehab from and they don't know how to do it, or that's somebody who's, dealing with obesity.
Yeah.
And, they're coming to me being like, I have no idea because nutrition's just not taught. Yeah. Right? And it's one of the most important things. I don't get it. It blows my mind. Right? How are we a country and we're not teaching people how to eat and take care of their own bodies, right?
Mm-hmm. And when you were, like, say, young and you were like, I really enjoy helping people, did you always knew like it was going to be in the fitness realm?
Not at all. No, I had no idea what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I was big into sports. That was my thing. Like probably, you were too, right? Constantly doing different sports. My parents, I come from a family of four brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 brothers.
You're the oldest.
Yeah. No. I'm actually the middle child.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. And they all played sports. So I've always just known sports. Yeah. And one of my older brothers was probably the most athletic. I mean, I just remember watching that kid when I was young, and he could stand underneath the basketball hoop and just vertically jump up and dunk it.
Damn.
And he was in high school.
Yeah. Natural athletes then.
Yes.
Jeez, man.
Like pretty good genetics that my parents passed on, and so some of my brothers took advantage of it.
So when did fitness come into your life? Like obviously you were playing sports as like when you were young, and it just kind of developed over time that you just become obsessed with it.
So mine was, I was kind of forced into it. It wasn't really the path that I had decided. I was going to play basketball. That was my thing. I was one of the top 3-point shooters in the league when I was a junior in high school. And, I dedicated years to basketball. That was my thing. I wanted to go play at Duke University. Damn. Under Coach K. Would have been a dream, right? Didn't happen. I don't think I had the skill set to be able to do that or put in the work that I should have. At such a young age, when things kind of come natural to you, you kind of take your foot off the pedal. And so it really did. And so I kind of did. I should have been putting in more work. And if I did, I could have been in a different spot, but I didn't. And then when I was a junior going into my senior year is when I discovered weights. I was at Archbishop Mitty.
Okay.
Yep. They had hired on a strength coordinator from Stanford. So this was the first time that they had ever introduced us, to weight training.
Yeah.
And as soon as I picked up a weight, rusty, metal, nasty. I mean, our training facility was pretty much outdoors. If it was raining, it was raining on you. The weights were rusty and nasty.
Damn.
They didn't have anything like they have now. It's like a college campus now.
Pretty much.
Right?
That's like every gym, right?
I know. It's beautiful that these kids have such great access to all these amenities now that we didn't have. you know?
Do you see the fitness? This is a very tough question because it's like a 50-50. You see people in one world like in love with fitness, and then you see another group that just like, you train? Why don't take a day off? Eat this, eat that. Like there's just like this weird culture when it comes to fitness, right? It's very like, say you, I don't know if you get those eyeballs when you're with somebody who doesn't go to the gym or who's not as disciplined as you, and they kind of just like, come on, man, why don't you just take a day off? Why don't you just chill for a little bit? You were always in shape. Why don't you just chill for a little bit? Have you ever had those? Like, because I was always told it was just people just coming off from their insecurities. I don't know if you would come up, because you're more experienced in the fitness game than myself.
I think that's part of it. Yeah. But, you know, we're all insecure. The first time you pick up a weight, you're insecure. Body dysmorphia sets in immediately, right? So some of the most insecure people on the planet are bodybuilders. You know, what we need to do is come together.
Yeah.
There's got to be a middle ground, right? And the whole thing I think that is lacking is the knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. Once we start educating people and people really know, and there's no fad diets. I mean, you know, we could give a basic generalized, this is general nutrition. Adjust it based on your body, your progress, your lifestyle.
Yes.
But at least some key points so that they know what they're doing. When you put protein in your body, what does it do? When you put carbohydrates in the body, what's the function of the carbohydrates? Yeah. People don't know basic nutrition.
Yeah.
So instead of going to extremes or scaring people with different fads, let's just put a general basic guideline out there that people can work with and get good results and still live a functional, flexible lifestyle.
Yeah. Like it could be very simple, but I think social media intimidates people.
Big time.
You know what I mean? It almost like pushes people away where like fitness is intimidating. Wait, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. You know what? It's too much. I think I'm just going to stay away.
I would too, right? Yeah. I mean, you got to lift weights like this. No, this isn't the correct way to do this. And then you check out 5 other guys and everybody's got a variation. And their variation is the right way. And any other way is the wrong way.
Yes.
I've lifted weight for 20 years. There's a ton of variations to get to the results that you want.
Yeah.
Your elbow doesn't have to be at the perfect exact angle. You know what I'm saying? Like, people need to chill out.
Yeah, man. Like I always say, even to this day, I'm 28 years old and I still experiment with things. You know what I mean? Because I'm always like, to me, let me try something else. Let me put my footing a little bit over here. You know what I mean? There's always different ways. And I always tell people that experiment with your body, try new things. You know what I mean? Like, you may listen to somebody who's like a former trainer or some videos or influencer that you've seen. And they're like, they showed you a certain technique and you followed and you're like, you know what? This has worked for me for this amount of years. Maybe try something else though.
Yeah.
You never know what could come out of it, right?
That's the thing.
And that's the thing when it comes to social media too, is the influencers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are some of the red flags that you see within that? Because I know that ticks you off.
Yeah, there are. And I did a little post on Instagram about that the other day, you know. And I was trying to get away from maybe not so much what irritates me. I was trying to get it more onto kind of what to look for an influencer, right? Yeah. So let's keep it positive and let's say, you know, let's get rid of the negative stuff and say, hey, what are some positive things that some of these guys are bringing to the table? One is most of them are motivational.
Yes.
Which is great. Dude. We all need people promoting fitness in a positive message, promoting nutrition with a positive message.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2 would be education behind the videos, right? So I want a little bit of knowledge. When you're dropping a video, I don't want to just see you getting pumped in the gym. I don't want to see how vascular you are, you know. If you're a big dude and I like your shoulders.
Yes.
I want to see your shoulder workout. You know, that's how I learned to work out in the first place because we didn't have social media when we grew up, right?
Yeah.
You know, I think I'm a little bit older than you. I don't know why I keep on saying when we grew up. I might be like 10 years older than you.
It make me feel good like that. I want to be felt like a man.
You know, I just remember I used to go, the way that I learned to lift weights and to shape my body was I would go to the gym. I would find the dude that had the muscle that I liked.
Yes.
If he's got a great chest, dude, I'm going to watch like a creep his whole chest workout. Staying from afar, right? Because I was a little kid. I was intimidated, didn't know what I was doing, right? Yeah. So I would watch his entire workout. I would watch the speed that he lifts. I would watch the time that he takes off. You know, I would watch all of it. And I would record it in my brain. And the next day, I would go in there and I would do the exact same workout that he did.
Yes. It's almost like it's another form of just being a sponge, because a lot of people, when they like say with you, if I'm with you and we're talking about fitness, nutrition, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to shut the hell up. You know what I mean? And that's the thing too, my man, you need to be able to sit with people who are just simply better than you.
Yeah.
And I can say I'm a grown ass man, and I could say this proudly. You know, I know where I stand, and I know my lane, and I like being near people like you because you're better than me. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of circle that you need to be around. And then you did that at a certain age, at a very young age, because a lot of people, they don't like to listen, but you did. You were like, this guy's much bigger than me. How did he get there?
Yeah.
And you were following him, and you followed just the simple things that he was doing, right? It's not that difficult.
No.
Like you're saying, the timing, the speed, like the rest, everything. But he just did it, and then you just applied it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like any mentors.
It is.
Or any people that you've watched, say a Kobe Bryant, a Michael Jordan. It's, there's like fellow mentors that we've never met before. It could be just in general, but have you had any mentors along your way that you've learned from?
Yeah, definitely for weightlifting. And a lot of people probably don't know this, but Hani Rambod and I used to be best friends. We were super close back in the day. Yeah. I was with Evogen when Evogen started. I wasn't an employee, but I owned Laws. It was Max Muscle at the time, and we, helped build Evogen from the ground up. And I took a lot of knowledge from that guy.
Yeah.
He's extremely intelligent, and, I still respect him more than anybody probably in the industry. And so when I was with him, I learned a ton about nutrition. I wasn't with the formulations, but I was testing flavors, and we were giving advice of what directions products should go in and all that kind of stuff. So he was teaching me about proteins. He was teaching me about amino acids. He was teaching me about, gastrointestinal emptying times, like stuff that people just don't typically learn. Right?
Yeah.
And so I absorbed a lot from him. Supplement wise, I was business partners with a good guy. His name was Lance Tomlinson, and he taught me a lot. Especially about, supplements and the supplement business and, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Timing of nutrition.
Yeah.
He helped coach me through my first bodybuilding show.
Yeah. How was that, by the way?
So I ruptured both my Achilles, and that pretty much ended my basketball. Yeah, I know, right?
What age?
So I think I was 21, somewhere around there.
Both?
Yeah, I ruptured both of them. So I ruptured the first one. I started taking creatine.
Shout out.
Put on 10 pounds real quick, right? Went to play basketball thinking I was 10 pounds lighter, and my Achilles just said no. So I went, jumped for a rebound, came back down, thought somebody karate kicked me, and it just snapped in half. Whoa. So I had that one. And then when you rupture one, it's like 80% of the time you're going to rupture the other one. So it was like another year and a half after I had rehabbed that one, ruptured the other one. So when that happened, obviously basketball was done.
Yeah.
There's no chance anymore. So that's when I started, getting into weightlifting. And so I dedicated years of weightlifting. I think I was 30 years old when I had, it was Lance's idea actually. He came to me and he's like, dude, you're like 240 pounds. You're all muscle. You're doing this for fun.
Yeah.
Like you just love weightlifting. Why don't you step on stage, earn a couple trophies? It'll help build business, help get your name out there. And really, that's all I did it for. I don't like showing it off. I like the work.
Yeah.
I like the grind. I like challenging myself to do things that other people can't do, like eating the same diet for 6 months straight. And that's what I did for the first show. Like literally 6 months. It was, because we were old school. It was chicken and rice, dude, and some vegetables. Have that 5 times a day. If you want some mustard, you can have some mustard. But you're not adding salt to it. You're not doing anything. I mean, I was diced. I was shredded, bro. Crazy, I was probably 3% body fat when I stepped on stage.
Whoa. Yeah, I was looking at your website and I saw that picture of you, man. Insane.
So he dialed me down for 6 months, dude. Decided to do the show, do the San Jose, obviously, because I'm from there.
Yeah.
Right. And I had Hani Rambod was at that show. Damn. And so I'm this guy that nobody even knows of. Never done a bodybuilding show. Yeah. When I'm backstage, I'm looking around at everybody else. I'm like, I won.
Yeah.
My confidence was just through the roof. Yes. I was like, these guys, I'm going to crush them all. And I had everybody coming up to me like, where are you from? What have you been doing? And I have Hani Rambod, the pro creator, backstage with me, oiling me up. He's literally got, and everybody's like,
who's this guy,
bro? He's like with Jay Cutler, Phil Heath, dude. and he's with Chris Law. I'm like, what? So that was pretty cool. That was a really good experience, something I'll never, ever forget. Signing autographs afterwards, taking pictures, came home with like 4 or 5 trophies. It was freaking awesome.
It's dope, man.
One of the best experiences, dude. And it was for the hard work, right?
Yeah.
That's what made it worth everything.
Right.
Because if it would have came easy, and if I would have been cheating on my diet, I would have been throwing in some burgers, then it wouldn't have felt the same.
Yeah. In my, like losing, I think losing is probably the worst, especially like that. That's half a year.
Yeah.
Man, if it didn't go your way, I guarantee you it would crush you.
So I'm not one of those guys that's like, I want to beat myself on stage. I respect that.
Yes.
You know, if that's your motivation, go for it. But if I'm putting in work, if I'm putting in the supplements that are, you know, hindering life, if I'm doing the stuff that bodybuilders do, right, I'm coming away with first.
Yes.
That's it. I'm there to win. I'm there to rip throats out. I'm not there to be backstage and shake your hand and be like, let's get a picture together, buddy. We could do that after I win the whole thing. And then you're complimenting me.
Yeah.
But that's it, dude.
Agreed.
You know, it was like you. Could you ever imagine going into a fight and being like, oh, it'd be okay if I get knocked out. I wouldn't be the end of Hell no.
No.
You're going in there to tear him apart.
My last fight, I mean, I would love to play mental warfare with my opponents, right? Because that's a big thing in fighting. Like being physically, when people watch your film and they're like, oh, I got to watch what Daniel does this. I got to watch what Daniel does this. But it's good that they know that, but it's also good that they see how ready you are and how serious you are. So when, like my last fight, what I told my opponent during weigh-ins, during a face-off, I said, my friend, do not bring your family to this fight because I'm going to fucking embarrass you.
And they don't want to see what's going to happen to your face, buddy.
But man, that competitiveness, like people think that's like crazy, but you need to have that.
And that's how it was 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of, you know, participation trophies, softer over time, you know. And so everybody's a winner. You're a winner because you put in the effort. No.
Do you think that detriments things?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. My kids don't get participation trophies.
And guess what? They are going to be part of the 1% once they grow up.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that.
I challenge them. That's what, you know, parenting is all about.
Yeah.
You got to push your kids. You got to challenge your kids. You got to get them outside the comfort zone. The same thing as adults.
Yeah.
They just need a little to get it moving.
Yeah. So when you were young, like you said, you loved taking care of your brothers, right? Obviously, like you said, you loved kids. So the day that you started, like, in the process of becoming a father, man, was it everything that you thought it was going to be?
So,
if not more?
It's definitely that, bro. I mean, when my ex got pregnant, we were young.
Yeah.
She was 25. I was 25. She was 23. This is a lot of people don't know this about me too, is I had just gotten out of prison. I served about a little over a year and a half for involuntary manslaughter. Trying to take care of one of my friends in college that kind of went awry and, you know, ended up doing some things she shouldn't have done and ended up passing away. But so myself and one of my buddies ended up serving some time for that, which is another thing that, you know, shakes you to your core, brings you down, challenges you. You know, I lost a really good friend, but we don't have to get totally into that. But anyway, so, you know, that was one of the things that has been a life challenge for me. Where were we going with that one?
Your children. When you it was everything that you thought it would be.
So I'd gotten out, right? And so we were together. We were both very young. And Melissa had gotten pregnant. And so at first, you know, I called I can't even remember how it went down, but I'm pretty sure she told me. She's probably shocked, scared to death to tell me.
Yeah. Right?
Could you imagine a young lady like that with a man who just got out of prison? She supported me through the whole thing. Amazing woman, right? But truly scared to death of how her man's going to react, right? And I probably reacted exactly how she thought. I was shocked. I think I probably left the house and went walking, you know. I thought probably called my parents right away and was like, what am I doing? What have I done? How am I going to handle this? You know, what am I going to do? You know? But man, Tyler David Law, he's 17 now. He is amazing. He has always been such an amazing kid. We were blessed with him. He was not only a pretty easy kid, which is awesome for the first time parents, right? We had tough times, you go out in public and you don't know how to handle it. And you're sweating because your kid's screaming,
I feel like I'd freak out.
Right? You're hella uncomfortable. And I'm sure, every parent's been there and felt that. There's little things. How are we going to afford this financially? We were paycheck to paycheck,
Yeah.
We were one paycheck away from not paying rent and being on the streets, But those are the challenging times.
Right,
and those are the exciting times. And you look back on that. And that's what built me and shaped me. And I'm sure shaped her and built her.
Yeah.
Right? And there was so much love that came from Ty. It brought us together tighter, brought the families together. He was the biggest freaking blessing, man.
And it was just momentum after that when it comes to like all your other children.
I've got two more, little girls, Brooklyn and Sky, 8 and 4, and then I've got another one on the way.
Damn, man.
So October 13th, Logan's
That's
supposed
so
to be
soon.
here. I know. So I'm gonna have 2 boys, 2 girls. I'm snipping that, bro.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I think I'm gonna get 2, 3 max.
Yeah.
Then I'll snip it.
Snipping. Right. No more. But this is what I live for.
Yeah.
When you get to a certain age, life changes. And goals and dreams and what you desire in life and all that kind of stuff changes. And there is nothing I want more in my life than to spend quality time with my kids as much as I can.
I think when I was younger, man, I would recognize like my mindset when it comes to having a wife and having children. It would be kind of negative. It would be like, oh, that's distracting. Oh, it's a hindrance. It'd be slowing me down. And the older I got, like when I had my niece, like my sister had her baby, and being able to give my niece so much valuable time, man, changed a lot to the point where it's like now, to me, as I get older, it will be my greatest title as being a father and being a husband. You know what I mean? I feel like that's, especially a father. Like, I feel like anybody could be a dad, but not everybody could be a father.
Anybody can make a kid.
Everybody. But can you, like, the thing is being there. Do you know your kid's favorite color?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, do you know everything about your kid and does your kid know everything about you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's crazy because I always love talking to parents because me, right? I don't have any children. I think I have an inclination, a way how I would raise my children,
Right.
but it's funny because when they come,
Yeah.
be completely
It's
different.
like Mike Tyson. What did Mike Tyson say? Everybody's got a game plan to
You
get punched in the face.
So that's the crazy thing, man. Like where we have this foundation that we think that we're going to be able to pass to our family, but man, sometimes there's so many unexpected challenges that just hit us in the face. But like you said earlier, it's kind of what shapes us and what builds us. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So they're very necessary. It's almost to the point where, and I know you're the same way. It's almost like you kind of welcome adversity in a way because you realize after every chapter that you've been through, like when you found out you're about to have your firstborn, you were probably freaking out. Like you were going on a walk, you were on the phone with your parents. But at the end of the day, you're like, you know what? That's a problem solved and I figured it out. And my son is 17 years old now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we didn't kill him. We made it, dude. And we didn't screw him up too much. The kid's like a 4.2 student.
Solid, man.
Yeah, Ty is one of those kids where you don't even have to ask him if he's done his homework.
Yeah.
He just gets it done, dude.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, I think, has to say about his mother and myself is you lead by example. That is the number one thing with parenting, and that's why you always have to focus and work on yourself. Because if I make myself a better human being, my children immediately will be better human beings.
Yeah.
They will see it, they will react, they will follow, and if I'm leading this family correctly, doing the things I'm supposed to be doing, right?
And it's almost like, I would always say that too, like even to this day, it's always a priority for me to go visit my family, right? And when I'm with them, it's like, I have to make sure I'm 110% first. That way I can give them that.
That's it.
But is that how I should approach having children, do you think?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That was my intention, because if I approach my son or my daughter with 60%, what are they gonna feel like? Oh, my dad is lazy. My dad is boring. I don't want them to even think about that stuff. I want them to think, man, I don't care about these superheroes on TV. My dad's the superhero.
That's it.
You know?
Yep.
So like you said, lead by example.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when I go visit my My mom has a home gym, right? And I train there, and my niece will sometimes just watch me. And she's little. She's only like 6 years old. So she doesn't really she knows what working out is, but she doesn't really understand it yet.
Right.
But she sees it.
That's it.
And when she'll watch me the entire time of why I'm doing this, when I'm doing this. She'll grab a little kettlebell and just start playing with it.
That's all you want.
Yeah.
That's all you want.
So it's not about like, because we can talk really good, right? We can, kids, do this, do that. But if your kids see you not doing it, it's not going to work, right?
Nope, it's not.
Yeah.
Guaranteed 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were doing bodybuilding, did you ever think that you were going to correlate that to business?
So one of the main reasons why I stepped on stage was to help. I was working at Max Muscle off of Meridian in Hamilton, was to help build that kind of business and kind of get my name out there. He knew that I was not going to be an employee at his store for long. You know, that just wasn't going to happen, bro. I'm not working at, no offense for anybody who makes it, but I ain't working for $19 an hour or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I think my skill set's a little bit too good for that. So I had I made a deal with him. Yeah. His store, I think, was, I'll throw out some private numbers here, dude, but these were like 15, 20 years ago, so I'm sure it's cool. But his store was probably doing like 60 grand a month, which is really good for a brick and mortar mom and pop supplement shop. You're doing like $2 grand a day.
Yeah.
So I came in and I told him, hey, dude, I'm going to increase this thing by like 30, 40 grand per month. Watch what I do. Yeah. I said, I'm going to guarantee you I'm going to make it happen overnight, because he never had anybody who come in here with this kind of energy, knows what he's doing. I'm going to sell. I went in there. Within a couple months, it was up to almost $100,000 a month, that store. Jeez. He was killing it, bro. Killing it. It was over $1 million a year store, right? Supplement shop.
So that's the crazy thing too, my man. What people have a negative connotation towards sales, but they forget to think about that everything is sales.
But my whole goal always behind the selling is to make sure that I'm taking care of that individual. Yeah. It's always been.
Yes.
You know, my motto is don't get sold, get educated.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's always been that. The last thing that you ever want to do going into any sort of business, I don't care if I'm going into Foot Locker, is feeling like dude is selling me. Right?
Yeah.
I want to be greeted. I want to be taken care of nicely.
Yeah.
I want to feel like they care about what I put on my foot, and then it's matching for what I'm coming in there looking for, right? I want to feel like I'm getting taken care of. And nutrition is very personal. You know, I have conversations in the store, like there's nothing off the table, where I'm dealing with guys who are having estrogen issues, getting bitch tit. I don't know if I can say that.
Oh, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I've got people who have cancer. I've got customers that have dementia setting in. I've got, you name it, walks of life, right? Yeah. And so they all need help. And so the whole thing is just educating.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't know everything. I don't know everything, bro.
I'm walking right now. I don't know. I don't know
so
shit.
A lot of these customers will educate me because they'll come in with an issue that I haven't dealt with before.
Yes.
And I want to be the guy that you come to. So if I'm lacking on some sort of knowledge, I've always told my customers, you come back to me in like 2 days, I'm going to know more about this than your doctor does, dude.
Yes.
Right? And I'll dive in and I will educate myself on that topic. So when that customer does come back in, boom, I'm spitting knowledge again.
Agreed. And I feel like even going back to the whole sales thing, I feel like when somebody gets a customer or gets a client, you know, and they say, gotcha, that's where you messed up. You know, like that's where it's salesy.
Yeah, that's just gross.
Exactly. But there's a lot of those out there. But
there are, like the used car sales guy. Right?
Yeah, when you're like genuinely trying to help somebody, and like when I was helping so many people too within their fitness and doing their nutrition as well, and it got to the point where I was prioritizing them more than myself.
Once again, it's like raising kids, right? You can't do that.
Yeah. So it was like. But it was always like, I wanted them to get to the mission. I wanted them to get to the goal. And sometimes I'd be like all the management, all the 24/7 access to me, all the questions, all this, it was like, and I didn't have a system back then. So it was tough. And to the point where it made me mentally fatigued.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it made me realize like I did prioritize these people, but at the same time, we have to prioritize ourselves as well. So I feel like you making the sales go so high up is because you had like a really, really good system, but you're also really, really good with people. And that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, what are you doing? You're benefiting these people.
Oh, for sure. And if I didn't feel like I was doing it, I wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
Right? Because I'm not that kind of guy. I was put on this earth to take care of other people and help other people.
Yeah.
Make other people's lives better. And in turn, God has always told me that I will take care of you, son. So I might not take care of you. We're going to have a mansion in Beverly Hills and 4 houses, to go visit, but I'm going to put food on your plate.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you what you need.
Isn't that that's the simple things though that people forget?
That's what I need. And to be honest with you, that's what most men need.
Yeah.
We're not creatures who need a lot, dude.
No.
We need to feel good. We need to have respect. We need to have goals, drive. We need to have, things that we want to accomplish. A man without a goal, without, something to accomplish is a lost man.
Yeah. My mother was mentioning to one of her good friends how he was struggling with depression, some sort of like very stressed. I don't think it was depression. He was just extremely stressed. And I know him personally. And I mentioned to my mother, I was like, Mom, when a man gets to a certain age and he hasn't accomplished anything, nor is he have any meaning or purpose, trust me, that would make any man depressed.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Even myself. Like I feel like to this day, if I had no meaning, if I had no purpose, it'd be very tough.
Yeah.
It'd be extremely tough. So I feel like, and it's hard, man, because like some people, they don't know what they want to do, but I feel like they do. I just think they're nervous to kind of say it out loud. Like nowadays, it's like they don't. They're very timid. Their shoulders are very kind of like this. You're
talking about the average man walking around.
Yes.
Yeah. No matter what you do, you're going to be okay. Yeah, we'll take care of you. We'll pat your butt for you.
Man.
Yeah. I know. We were a lot softer.
We were talking a lot about that. When did you think that started?
I think, dude, it's this social media thing is so tough.
Yeah.
It's screwed up so many people.
Yeah.
It's changed so much stuff. I remember seeing the first time, I don't remember what it was, but I remember going on the internet and seeing first social media. It was probably Facebook or something was the first thing. And I remember somebody posting their food. That was one of the first posts I've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
How people post their food.
Yeah.
Right? And to me, it was like the most foreign thing I've ever seen. Who cares about what you ate today? Yes. Beverly from Wisconsin.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And now everybody wants to be a celebrity and everybody thinks they're special and everybody, should be treated like queens and kings, and you're not. Yeah. And like we talked about earlier, it's really tough for people to really look in the mirror and analyze themselves and see that person looking back.
Yeah.
People are scared to do that. And until you can and it's a tough thing to do, dude. I understand that you're scared to do that. Mm-hmm. I'm scared to do that a lot of the time because it's being real.
Yeah.
Who am I? Do I have the morals I think I have?
And with you, you're in a very experienced, well-rounded individual. For the young kid, pretty much clawing for answers, what do you think that you would pass on to him?
I would say be patient and don't do anything crazy. Keep all the stupid stuff off social media just for your future, because you never know once it hits online, it's online there forever.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can never take it off. I would say for guys, if you really want to get into why I think, and I have some very opinionated stances on some of this stuff, but the whole OnlyFans thing, if you want to talk about, something that is destroying a lot, is the whole OnlyFans thing. And I don't blame women for it, okay? It's not their fault. This is a low-hanging fruit that some of these women can make 6 figures in a month by taking a couple photos or a couple videos a day and not having to do anything else, right? Mm-hmm. I would do it. If I could put my stuff out there and get $100,000 a month, I would do it. Yeah. I can't blame you. But you know who we have to blame? Is men. Yeah. The guys that are paying $7.99 for a subscription, the guys that are supporting this, the guys that are liking Instagram photos instead of blocking these chicks. You're giving them value for something that doesn't need to put value on, right? Yeah. And when you take that away, you take the money away, it's going to kill the entire thing. Mm-hmm. But we have these soft men that are willing to support this.
Lust. They chase, I call it cheap dopamine hits, where it does nothing for you long term. I even knew a guy where he told me, he was like, hey man, somebody from our high school started an OnlyFans. And I was like, and how do you know that?
Yeah.
You know what he said? Because I subscribe.
There you go.
And I was like,
That's it.
bro, you know how kind of disturbing that is? You're approaching 30?
And I look at it like this too. My girl's 8 years old, my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
My son's 17. Could you imagine if my son found out that I was paying money to see naked women online?
Yeah.
What kind of example are you setting for your kids? Right? What kind of example am I setting for my 8-year-old and 4-year-old daughter, who I hope never go down that road?
Yeah.
And they will never go down that road because they have me as a father, and I am in their life, and
Yes.
I am, both mom and dad are there. We might not be together all the time because we're divorced, but we are active parents in your life, and we are parenting.
Yeah.
And the kids get attention, and the kids get time with us,
Yeah.
right? A lot of these young ladies that are doing this are from broken homes. A lot of them don't have fathers or very poor relationships with their fathers.
Isn't
And they
that
have
crazy, man?
some of the stats, dude,
Yeah.
like with the divorce stuff we were talking about earlier. One of the craziest stats is that single mothers, 80% of the time, their children end up in some sort of legal issue when raised by a single parent, a single mother. If a single father is raising the kids, it has been proven that he can do it just as well as both parents together. These are stats. You can look them up online. I'll find them if you guys need me to find them for you.
Yeah.
But they are out there. This is facts.
Went viral too because I talked about the stats of like what happens to homes when fathers are not involved, and like how sex at a young age comes when it comes to women. A lot of felonies.
Yeah.
You know, kids
It's
like break.
self-confidence. It's lacking.
Yeah, man.
Self-esteem isn't there.
Yeah.
A man needs to show you how to treat not only a man, right?
Yeah.
How to treat yourself too. And respect for yourself.
I don't know if you agree with this. I wanted your opinion. Somebody told me last night, actually, unconditional love is not real. You know what I told her? I said, women and children get unconditional love. Men have to earn it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I talked to my girlfriend about that last night.
Yes.
It's very funny. Yeah. Yeah, and we both agreed. We looked at each other and we agreed. Between us, there's no such thing as unconditional love. Between my ex and me, there's no such thing as unconditional love.
Yeah.
It ended after 20 years. That's proof in it right there.
Yes.
The unconditional love that I have for somebody is my children.
Yes.
When you look at your child, as soon as that fucker comes into this world, you have given your life up. I will step in front of a train. I will take a bullet,
Yeah.
I will use the X as a human shield. I will do whatever I got to do to keep these kids safe.
Yeah,
Right?
man. That's what I can't wait for, man. That's like I was telling you off air, like there's two types of people that I respect so much is businessmen and businesswomen and parents. You know what I mean? Because
Parents that are doing it right.
exactly. Because I mean, when growing up, I never really listened to my parents really, and it's kind of funny. They always told me to read when I was young. Never listened to them because I was like, what do I got to read for? It's boring. It's for nerds. Now I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
All I do is accumulate knowledge. Like that's what I'm obsessed with that now. But I was like, I tell my family, I'm like, man, just imagine if I listened to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of young kids now, it's worse. They're like talking back to their parents as if like you can actually do something. It's like you kind of need to. Why do you think that term exists? Respect your elders. You know what I mean? Because there is a real thing when it comes to boy strength and man strength. But you have these young kids standing up to grown men, and it's like, man, you need to stay in your lane. There's a reason why that term exists. Respect your elders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're parenting correctly, the respect's going to be there.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed.
That's the bottom line. You're not going to have to deal with that. Maybe one or two times he jumps out of line because he sees one of his brothers or buddies do it or something like that. Or, testosterone's kicking really high. He's going through puberty and he freaking steps out of line, right? But if you're raising the kids right, then you don't have to deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's never a time that my 8-year-old or my 4-year-old would do something that I look at her like, where did that come from? They behave like they're supposed to.
Yeah. So I know, like parenting, there is no book out there when it comes to a blueprint for parenting. And I think like there's a lot of business books as well, right?
Yeah.
I have read a lot about business, but what taught me more about business is being involved in it.
Yes.
Right?
Nothing like experience.
And even with you, my man, when you got into the fitness and you did your bodybuilding, and then you were obviously increasing the sales when it comes to the supplement store, did you know that you were going to start your own?
Yeah. So I had talked to him, and that's the thing, right? Is I was not going to hang out in the store for 6 months and keep on making this guy rich as can be.
Yeah.
So I was taking a small paycheck. I wasn't asking for commission. I wasn't asking for any bonus money on top of that. The whole agreement was that I will begin my own franchise with Max Muscle. He would have me for a certain period of time, and then he's always wanted to expand. I would expand it for him, cut him into a little bit of a percentage, all that kind of stuff, and grow the business.
Yeah.
And then we'd end up having 5 of these things in San Jose or something like that, right? So that was kind of the vision. The problem is we're doing so good over there. The other one was already open, the one that I own now on Blossom Hill. He was getting crushed. I was stealing all his business. So he ended up coming to us and saying, hey, man, I'm in debt. I got to get out of here. I think he wanted like 20 grand just to pay off his debt to get out, and we'd take over the store. Yeah, he had a pile of sunflower seeds behind the desk that were like the size of a human being, bro. He just kept throwing them. I mean, the store was a disaster. There was like one drink in the refrigerator. It was nasty, right? I didn't mean to, but we put him out of business. And so he came to us. Lance, being the tough businessman at the time, said, no, we'll give you 10 grand.
Yeah.
So we came out of the pocket 5 grand, I think, each to buy a business. Yeah. So we got that place. We had the lease already taken care of. We put some money in there to put some product in there. And I think the very first month that I was in there, I did over 60,000.
Jeez. Crazy, right?
And I've had the place for 12 years now.
That's brilliant, man. I mean, that shows even like when it comes to, say, COVID 2020, a lot of places closed down.
Oh, it was tough.
And a lot of places were gone. Right?
I had two. I had another one off of Bernal. And they came to me, and we didn't have the food license. So we were non-essential.
Jesus.
So they wanted the doors closed. Over at the Blossom Hill one, I had the food license. I was up to date. Thank God. So I kept the doors open, but nobody was coming.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't matter whether the doors were open because I was in there every day. It didn't matter. People weren't going to come by. They're too scared.
You know what's crazy too, my man? When people see, people love entrepreneurship, right? And I feel like nowadays it's getting very trendy to like own something, start your own business, so on and so forth. But what people don't realize, it's not sexy, and it's very hard. And it's hard because it's with your bare hands. It's something that you created. It's something that you started. So it's almost like, do you have systems in place to the point where you're able to maintain and scale a business? Are you able to learn and be a sponge and like take critiques from other people who are better than you and actually apply it? Because a lot of people, they think they want to do something until they're like, I started a clothing brand. Where's my money?
Yeah.
What the heck's going on?
We got $20,000 worth of inventory sitting there and it's not moving.
Exactly.
And
So,
no game plan.
And I know there's so much correlation to business, man, but like, people see all the flashy stuff, but they don't see the behind the scenes of like really what goes down, my man. So in your experience, what has been some of the biggest headaches in business that you solved?
So my thing when I got in there, dude, and just because I said the first month we did well, right? I lived in that place.
Yeah.
I lived there for probably the first 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
I was never home.
Yeah.
I was always in there doing something, right? Or flyering parking lots, or doing demos at gyms, or going and building business at firehouses, at local gym, doing whatever I could.
Yeah.
I was a pavement hustler. And I learned that because I used to do door-to-door sales when I was a kid, and that was one of the best experiences of my entire freaking life, man. Yes. Getting your stuff pushed in every single day, multiple times, people telling you go F yourself 30 times a day, that builds character. Right? Yeah. So I'm used to people telling me go F yourself. Yeah. My whole thing was I want him to tell me go F yourself. By the end of the conversation, he's going to be inviting me to dinner. Right? I'm going to get that dude to love me. So most guys would be like, F you bad. Yeah. I'm like, oh, dude, really? You're having a rough day today, bro? I brought this whole package for you. You didn't even know I brought this for you. I got these A's packages. We're going to get you into the A's game, give you a free hot dog, make you feel better, bro.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that's one of your greatest skills, my man, is like how when people are near you, they easily get comfortable. And I saw that when I went to your store recently. how there was like 3 people that stopped by.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't just buy items. They bought the item, but they stayed there a little longer just to communicate with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Community.
that's what I'm
what it
saying,
is.
my man. And it's so, and that just shows me right there, genuine, because you're not that guy who's like, take this item and get out of my face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's genuine time. And then you weren't just talking. It was like high value conversations.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like you were just giving this. I mean, there was a young kid in there when I was there, and you were actually giving him some game. And then I was sitting there just observing and just chilling and just obviously involved in the conversation. But I'm just like, man, like this is what, I don't see this a lot. You know
My
what I
whole
mean?
thing is I want you more educated when you leave than when you came in.
Yeah.
I want you to be able to go home, and if it's that young kid, go to his parents and be like, I went to the supplement shop and I picked up some creatine. Well, what did you pick up creatine? What does it do? Well, this is what creatine does. And he breaks it down to his dad, right? Yes. And his dad's like, I don't know if that's safe. And he's like, oh, there's actually been 80 clinical studies and, you know, da, 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 da. And his dad's like, wow, son, where'd you get that? I got that from the supplement shop. He taught you that?
Yeah.
Power.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Power and knowledge.
Yes. And you know what, we were talking about the whole, like how you had a really good month.
Mm-hmm.
And I always let people know that too. Business, just like the stock market, it's very this.
Yeah.
It's very this. Some months are great.
Especially retail.
Yeah. And some months are, we didn't do good this month. You know what I mean? And I feel like it almost correlates to business as well. Sometimes there's always going to be headaches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think, cause I'm a former fighter, right? So I've always studied fighters, and Dana White is the president of the UFC, correct? And he's a perfect example, very successful, but he's always say there's a lot of stress involved.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Imagine.
Because he's always, fights are always pulling out. Events get canceled. Or this gets ruined. Oh, somebody's sick or this and that. Like, so he says it best. Business is hard, and every day it brings a different challenge. But it's always those 1% men that say, bring me more.
What's the challenge? I had 5 of them yesterday.
Yeah.
Give me 5 more today.
See what I mean, man? See what I mean?
Why not? Life would be boring without it.
Bro.
God, could you imagine if I had $20 million in the bank and had nothing to do with the rest of my life?
Sitting
I'm
and
going to
doing
invest
nothing.
my money. I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to try to make more money when you don't even need any more, right? You're just whatever.
Bored.
Yeah. I like challenges, bro.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Yeah,
throw
I
me in the
completely
dirt, throw me in the trenches,
Yeah.
and throw me in the trenches 15 times.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through my life, dude. Throw me in there 80 more times. I'm going to scratch and claw and climb out, and my kids are going to see it, and they're going to be like, dude, I could do anything. Look at what my dad did. You know, he lost it all, came back from it. Business failed, came back from it. You know, he got injured in the gym, couldn't lift what came back from it.
Yeah.
Right?
Man, see, that's what I love to see, because your kids, like 17, I think when I was 17, I wasn't really fully aware of like a lot of things. I wasn't a sponge, I would say, back then. I really wasn't.
I wasn't either.
And I feel like having that, like seeing like your 17-year-old son, very smart already, obviously, right?
Yeah, he's very smart.
And it's going to be great as he gets older, because then he's going to start asking you questions about the stories. Like when it comes to business, when it comes to sales, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to fatherhood, like all these real questions, these deep, genuine questions that makes his stock go high up as a man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's so important, my man, to keep that. Because just like you, can you please say to the audience how much experience you have in this game? Because on your website, when I saw it, I almost dropped my phone.
Really? Why?
I was like, this is crazy.
That's awesome.
So let the audience know how much experience you have in this fitness game.
So I've been doing this for over 20 years. Yeah, I'm 43 years old right now. I picked up my first weight when I was 17, and that's when I really started diving into it.
That's insane, man.
You know, I'm educating myself every day.
Yeah.
Right, because there's constantly new stuff. I'm big time into peptides right now. I predicted the testosterone thing, the TRT thing 10 years ago. Yeah. I knew that, you know, and it's going to get more and more, you know, like 80-90% of the men in this country are going to be on TRT, you know. And then the peptides are going to be the next big thing. And then in the next 10-15 years, we're going to find peptides that are going to extend life expectancy, that are going to help battle all kinds of diseases, cancer, you know, you name it. Besides just athletic performance and getting bigger and stronger, there's going to be things that with healing properties that are just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And so I'm really trying right now to educate myself on these peptides and get my knowledge base up big time, because I think that's the next step that this whole thing's going in.
So when it comes even to the, say like the TRT, you see all these young guys getting into it. Isn't like a thing where it's like to get on TRT is because your testosterone is lowering?
That's the whole point.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, because I know as we grow as men, our testosterone decreases. And say like Joe Rogan said it best when he was on his podcast. He's like, I'm on TRT and I've been on it for years because my energy just wasn't there. I wasn't training properly. I had no energy to play with my kids. So he's like, once he got on TRT, he just felt brand new again.
And it will for everybody.
Right?
That's the thing is we have poor environment, right?
Yeah.
Food's horrible. The stress levels at such a young age are off the charts.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's so many other factors that drop your testosterone that screw up your hormones.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting, you know, kids 20 years old that are bringing me blood work in the shop, and they've got testosterone levels of 80-year-old men.
Whoa.
Yeah. And you wonder, hey, why are we having health issues? If you have if that hormone's unbalanced, you're going to have multiple hormones that are going to be unbalanced.
Yeah.
You're not absorbing nutrients well. You're not sleeping well, you know, which are going to do a spider web of negative things in the body. Right?
Yeah.
So I get these guys coming in here and they're like, what should I do?
Yeah, man.
And, you know, the number one thing is go to your doctor and go talk to your doctor and find somebody who's willing to work with you, because a lot of doctors just are general practitioners and don't know testosterone and don't know how to handle it. Right. Yeah. So find, you know, a clinic that does. Yeah. And work with them to get your levels up to a healthy number, because it's game changing. So
when people are young and their levels are so low, they should get on TRT. But what about somebody, say like me? Like I would say too much energy. Like I think sometimes where even when I'm sleep deprived, I still do stuff.
I wish I was you, bro. I wish I had some of that. We'll bottle that stuff up. We'll sell it at the shop. It'll be number one seller.
Hey, whatever, how many blood you need.
We'll bleed you dry. Take it all.
So I always wondered about that too. Like I'm 28 years old. I have not felt my testosterone decrease whatsoever. But I feel like, say if I'm late 40s, early 50s, or however, when I start to feel that, I feel like that's when I would start incorporating it. But as a 28-year-old, say if my testosterone was low, and say if I was doing this podcast, like low energy, I was like falling asleep, so on and so forth, is that necessary to get on TRT?
So there's a couple of different things that you want to look for, right? One is going to be energy levels. And, you know, you're not supposed to be feeling like you're on 400 milligrams of caffeine all day long. Okay? Yeah. You're expected to be tired. So just because like, oh, I worked 9 to 5 and I'm tired. Yeah, that's normal. Yeah. But if you're like super tired, lethargic, wanting to sleep all the time, if you're exercising and you're sore for like 5-6 days, you know, and your nutrition's pretty good, right? So it's not a nutrition issue. If your sex drive is non-existent, and this is for men and women, this is not just for men. If you don't want to sleep with your partner and there's no outside reason for that, you want to check under the hood, because there's chemicals playing a role, right? Crazy. And even at your age, okay, say you're 28, testosterone levels should be excellent. You feel great. Everything's wonderful for you, right? Go check under the hood anyways. Yeah. Because you could be slacking a little on something that you might be able to maximize to get even more out of Daniel. Yes. Could we be functioning even better than we're functioning right now? Damn. Right? How much more could I create? How much more business could I make happen? You know, fuck. Oh man, I'm gonna be on juice to the gills. So, you know, I just tell everybody, check under the hood. Be your own doctor. Yes. That's one of the most important things. Yes. Is because doctors don't give a shit. Right. Right. They do not. They're when I got prescribe, read a chart. Oh, this is what I prescribe to you. And then I'm going to prescribe 5 other things to make sure that those side effects don't affect those side effects, right? I remember I got my foot messed up from a fight one time. Doctor didn't even look me in the eye. He was just on his clipboard. All right, just give him this. Write the receipt. All right, sir, Daniel, go ahead. Go to the Vicodin or Oxy or something. Man, crazy. Yeah. I was like, this guy didn't even look me in the eye. And I was like, that's the thing, man. Like, they're just prescribing stuff and just not giving you, like, I'm like, man, I always tell people, like, learn how to be the CEO of your own freaking health. That's it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's like the greatest life hack. Yep.
And I was watching a documentary how it's called Poisoned. How they were talking about Jack in the Box was like making like really, really bad meat, or they were undercooking their meat, and a lot of people were getting sick. And there was this big old news about Jack in the Box, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, this problem could be easily solved. Don't eat at Jack in the Box. They made this huge documentary about it. I was like, man, this is wild.
But you also got to remember, dude, this, guys like you and me, we're kind of blessed because we're outside of the box of the average dude.
Yes.
The average dude doesn't exercise. The average dude doesn't, eat correctly. The average dude doesn't, do a lot of the stuff that we do. Right. So we're kind of privileged because we see outside the box. So we look at that box as a privileged box. Like, dude, just don't go there.
Yeah.
Right. But dude's working 14 hours a day, construction, 3 jobs to try to take care of his family. Everything's closed at 10 o'clock at night. He goes home, the whole family's asleep, and he doesn't have food in the refrigerator. We make it so convenient for these people that how can you blame them for wanting to go and do something like that?
Yeah.
Right? So I can't be the guy that judges you for doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we should hold those kind of businesses to a certain level to take care of the freaking people.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if Jack in the Box and McDonald's and some of the other fast foods that are kind of on the lower level were to step up their game, bring better quality stuff to us, right? Mm-hmm. Then what kind of impact would that have on our community?
Yeah. But I don't think
it's not going to happen because it's money.
And I feel like that's when people are sick, they are profitable. And that's the hard part,
when
man.
you get into it, the pharmaceutical industry runs everything. So yeah, we all know.
It's scary, man.
You make money off of sick people. But that's fine. I'm going to be here and I'm going to fight.
Yeah.
And we're going to educate. Because there's power in knowledge.
Yes.
Right? And so if we educate everybody, then maybe we get to the point where we stop going to Jack in the Box and then it forces them to do something.
Yeah. Forces them to.
Yeah. Stop paying the OnlyFans. It forces them to do something else. Stop going to Jack in the Box. Forces them to do something else, right? But knowledge is power.
Yes.
So you got to be educated on this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where guys like you and me, who have nice platforms in order to do it, need to put it out there. I think there's a pushback on all that kind of stuff right now.
Yeah.
I think men are standing up. The whole toxic masculinity thing, which is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? I don't even know if you go to the origins of toxic masculinity. It was because it was a prison term that some, I think, psychiatrist or psychologist used in prison when the men got super violent against each other. They called it toxic masculinity. And now we're using that term out with average dudes when they're raise their voice in a conversation.
Like
there's no such thing. There's shitty human beings.
Yeah.
Male and female. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. Masculinity is beautiful.
Yeah. You know, somebody DM'd me. This is kind of weird. I posted a picture of me, just got done training, had a great pump, so on and so forth. Awesome, right? Mm-hmm. And a girl commented, and she was like, "You look like one of those guys." And I commented what is that? Like, what do you mean? Yeah. And she was like, "Oh, just like one of those toxic masculinity dudes, you know what I mean? Who just I was like, what did I say anything? I was like, I didn't even type anything.
Just proud of what you did. Some hard work that you put in.
I was like, I just worked out. I was like, what's going on here? I was not trying to fight back or bicker and batter. It was nothing like that. I was just lost.
Yeah.
I was just so confused. I was like,
it's just a picture of hard work, dude, and something that you're proud of,
It was so weird.
Toxic masculinity, right? Because you have muscles, you have some veins on your body. Like, that's crazy, dude. This is what you want. We are the protectors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
think my girl's ever worried about going out in public and walking someplace with me, dude?
Yeah.
Yours wouldn't be either. She knows that you can defend her and protect her.
And I'm proudly say, every time I'm with my girl cousins, every time I'm with my mother or my sister or my niece, because I have a lot of women in my life, and I can proudly say every time they're near me, they know they are okay.
Right.
They know that they're okay.
What a good feeling that is for somebody.
Yeah. But that's a good feeling for me too, that they know that. Yeah. That I'm just like
a little selfish. I feel it. Yeah. All this hard work paid off. Yep.
But that's our job.
Yeah, it is.
That's our role.
That's part
of
our role. It's part of our role.
It's crazy. But I love that. I love having to scratch and claw and get it every day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I do too.
Like that's such a mission. It's almost like it'll never go away. And that's just like the everyday thing. You know what I mean?
Could you ever imagine retiring?
No. No,
I couldn't
never.
either. It blows
Like when
my
people
mind. I
are, when
want
people
to do this.
when people keep saying to me like, "What's your number?" I'm like, "What do you mean my number?" Like, "Oh, to number when you're
Yeah,
retired."
you're gonna walk away.
I can't. I was like, "Wait, are you saying like for me to completely stop doing things and just sit on a beach all day and do nothing
Drinking lemonade, dude.
for what?" And like even when I go on vacation,
Yeah, I'm the
a
same way.
week, I'm like,
Oh.
dude, I'm like 2 days. Okay, that's 2 days I can do, but 5 and 7, I'm like, I gotta get out of here,
I've gone to Hawaii twice
bro.
with 2 different women, 20 years apart.
Yeah,
And both of them, halfway through the vacation, looked at me and said, "Do we need to get on a flight right now to get back home for you to get back to work? Because you either need to, one, chill out, and we need to have this vacation,
yeah.
or we're going back home right now."
Weird, right?
And sometimes we need a partner, who can do that because
Yeah.
we need it. Sometimes we need to be forced to do that.
Yes.
You'll come back better from that. You will,
Yeah.
right?
That's
But
what I like.
We
'cause-
don't like to make it happen ourselves.
Agreed. Like I feel if I didn't have I don't have a significant other, right? I don't have somebody to tell me to chill out, to relax, because I prioritize my sleep. You know what I mean? Because if I don't sleep properly, I am not going to be functional the next day.
Yeah.
So it's like my night routine. It's like that is essential for me because the sleep will dictate the next day. So I can keep things dialed, but I know when there's family involved.
Mhm.
Sometimes I get mad at myself because I'm like, man, like I caught myself one time because I was like, I'm thinking about work when
Yeah,
I
while
should
you're
be
with them.
here.
That's something that I've learned big time with my kids, especially with kids, right? I do not get on my phone. There's no iPads. There is nothing that is taking attention away. When I'm at the park with my kids, my phone is in my pocket and it is on vibrate,
Yeah.
And unless there's an emergency at the store, like it is burning down, my guys know I leave Chris alone. This is his time with his kids.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. And
gotta
that's,
force that and make that happen.
yeah. And that's like because like my niece, I've said this story a couple of times and I've never given my niece a toy. I just give her time.
That's
And
the best.
she always remembers, she'll bring up memories. She's only 6 years old and she'll bring up things like, damn, remember we used to play on this and do this and do that. I'm like, man, you got a bunch of files up there.
Locked in. I
Man.
remember, dude.
And just to this day, like we were swimming here on Saturday and just, man, all she wanted, and she was so sad when she was leaving because we weren't going to play anymore. And that's the hardest thing, man, when she leaves and she's like devastated. I'm like, man, I want to be able to be like that person, just genuinely be there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be saying, have these crazy businesses and like I'm traveling around the world and I can't even see my kids.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I can't, it's not worth, to me, there's no way.
No.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I would rather prioritize family time over any of that, honestly.
Same.
I would rather have a really up and down business to be able to see my family all the time.
I would too.
Literally,
Yep.
easily.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like, because I know there's a lot of hardship in fatherhood. I know there's a lot of hardship in business. What's harder in your experience?
Fatherhood, no question about it, dude. I can slack off at business a little bit. I could be behind the desk and act a fool for some time, but you can't do that in front of kids, man.
Yeah,
It's the leading by
right.
example thing.
Yeah.
And that's what's got me to be such a better man is just knowing that I cannot take the foot off the pedal.
So you're telling me,
No slacking.
get a kid right now.
No, enjoy yours, dude. Build your business. Do what you're loving.
Yeah.
What you got going on here is freaking amazing.
My mentor told me, he was like, Daniel, you're disciplined now. He says, when you become a father, your discipline will increase.
It will.
And I was like, dang, maybe I should.
You will. Yeah, don't. You will tighten the screws, though. Your thing, like most men should be right now, is working on you.
Yes.
Yeah. Women are great at that.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna take time to work on me. I'm gonna do me, especially. Right.
Yeah.
We need to do that as men.
Yeah.
We need to focus on ourselves, take care of ourselves.
Agreed,
And
man.
build our businesses up and build us as human beings and, get ourselves to the point where I'm 43. I still don't understand who I am 100%, right?
Yeah.
But get a good understanding of who you are as a human being. Understand what you want for your life, some things that are non-negotiables, create some good boundaries for yourself as a man, right? That are going to be in relationships, whether it's a female or business or whatever,
Yeah.
but good boundaries,
Yeah.
and then go balls to the wall. Attack your passion. Yes. And when you do all that kind of stuff and all that kind of stuff is lined up,
Yeah.
then that significant other finds you.
Yeah. One of my best friends told me that. She was like, Daniel, because I'm the only one in my friend group that's single. And a lot of my friends got married these past 2 years.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
It's like that time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're all approaching 30, right?
Yep.
So, and we were all, when the last wedding we were all together at, this is all like a big high school reunion because we're all friends. I still hang out with the same crew I did since I was in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The same high school buddies. Yeah.
The best. And they were all talking like, oh, Daniel's going to be the next one. And then one of the girls like, Daniel can't get married. There's no way. He's not going to get married. Like, he's the one that shouldn't get married. I was like,
Shouldn't get
dang,
married. Wow.
shouldn't.
Wow.
And I was like, why? I was like, why did they say that or think that?
Yeah.
I was so confused by that. But one of my friends, she said, I feel like life is just going to give you that girl.
Yeah.
You know?
I can see that for you too.
Yeah.
And I think that works for most men. You know, if you do it, and women too. I don't know why I said just men, but women too, people in general. You know, focus on you. That doesn't mean, you know, block out the world and I'm the most important and everybody else.
Yeah.
Just work on you. Try to be a better person.
Yeah.
You know, look in the mirror, find those cracks, patch them up, right?
Yeah.
And when it's always been that way for me too, when you got things moving, when life is going in the right direction, then that beautiful person comes in.
Yeah.
Male or female.
Yeah.
But if you're out there always looking and pursuing it, it ain't never going to come and you're never going to get what you want because the energy is not there, you know, and what you put out in this world, you're going to get back. And that energy is not right.
Yeah. Another thing that my mentor said, he also told me, Daniel, be very highly selective in your partner because that's the biggest decision you will make in your entire life. Like your significant other will either enhance your lifestyle or decrease your lifestyle.
100%.
But I tell my family that, like my older family, like my aunts and uncles, so on and so forth, they kind of look at me like, Daniel, you can't play God. I'm like, I'm not playing God. I am setting boundaries and standards.
Right.
You know what I mean?
People have a tough time with that. People really do. When you have boundaries and you're set on those boundaries, dude, people have a tough time with that.
Yeah.
They don't understand it because they haven't done it for themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
They settled with what's convenient.
Yeah.
You know?
They're comfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't want comfortable.
I don't either.
You know what I mean?
My life is uncomfortable. Every aspect of it, dude. And I love it. You know?
I love every bit of it, man, because it's so hectic. It's so crazy. It's so hard. But man, the weirdest thing out of all, I think that what makes us so crazy in the best of ways, though. I walk around, I'm like, dude, I think I'm psychotic.
It's a crazy that you look forward to.
Yeah. Like I was telling my my mother the other day, like I was like, I almost embrace adversity now. I kind of I'm open arms with it, like, you know.
And when you were young, it wasn't the same.
Never.
Right?
Never.
You fought against it.
Yeah.
You
I hid away from it.
Yeah.
Like I remember somebody asked me like why I got into fighting. I said, oh, I just didn't want to be picked on anymore. I was never bullied. I was just picked on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just a little guy. I never defended myself. Now I'm not big. I'm not this huge guy. I don't look the part, but people just know.
Yeah.
Because it's the way I walk. It's the way I move. It's the way I speak.
Confidence.
You know what I mean? So it's different. And that's the only reason why I got into fighting, for nobody to fuck with me.
Yeah.
That was
pretty
it.
good reason.
And then ended up correlating to, oh, I was actually doing it as a profession. Weird.
I'm pretty good at it. This is actually coming pretty nice and easy.
So it's crazy, man. But even like that competition, man, it's very necessary. Just like how you had that competition when it comes to the bodybuilding, but even businesses. McDonald's needs Burger King. Yeah. Target needs Costco, right? Because regardless of what they think, they are watching each other. They are looking at each other.
I don't know if you know about our story. So when I opened up the Blossom Hill store, we had 2 Nutri-Shops in the area.
Yeah.
We had a couple GNCs. We had the vitamin shops, which I think 1 or 2 of them are gone now, but one of them is still there. So I had competition. I pushed them all out. I pushed Nutri-Shop out. I pushed them all out. I pushed out all the other Max Muscles too.
Yeah.
You know?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I take pride in it, bro.
You should,
you
bro.
know?
You should, man. Because like my fighting, what my mentor would always tell me, my mentor was my coach as well. He would always say, Daniel, business is like fighting. You're studying your opponent and you're trying to understand him more than he understands himself. Yeah. And it's almost like business. These guys are watching each other. What do they do that's so good? What do they do that's bad? What could I capitalize on?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So the fact that you doing that, putting all these people away, that's very, very impressive.
There's been a lot
You know what I mean?
come and gone, bro.
I love
And
that.
like I said, I'm not trying to take second place, right?
Yeah.
So
See, I love that how you maintain that energy and that competitiveness because it's very, very essential.
Yeah.
And if it goes away, that's when things could just deteriorate.
Well, I think all entrepreneurs most of them have the same traits.
Yeah.
You have to be competitive. Yeah. If you're just going to take second place, dude, Ricky Bobby, bro. If you ain't first, last, son.
How does it feel, brother, to be an entrepreneur?
I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
I could never go work for somebody else. You know? And maybe it was the ego. I've always thought I'm smarter. I've always thought I could do whatever you do better than you could. If I wanted to dive into it, I could be better.
Yeah.
You know, it depends on how bad I want it and if I care.
Yeah.
Because I know that if I really want it, there's nothing that I couldn't do.
Yeah.
I just have to really want it, dude.
Yeah.
You know? And a lot of people don't understand what that really want it is. The really want it is waking up in the morning and it's the first thing on your mind.
Yeah.
And
Every
it's
day.
setting 15 goals that day to inch closer.
Yeah.
And every single day being relentless with the same motivation, the same drive, not needing anybody to powder your butt or to tell you you're doing good, or 6 months into it, you've been doing the same thing, right? People don't understand what that is.
Yeah. I have like that principle every day when I wake up and just say to myself, like, bring unequivocal excellence to everything you do.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything. I don't know.
That
I don't
poster
know.
above my bed, bro.
Yes. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but bring unequivocal excellence into everything you do today. You know what I mean?
Like
Everything.
that.
And I don't know what it's going to be, but it's like, oh, obviously make somebody feel good. Make somebody smile. You know what I mean? Make somebody's day, so on and so forth. Do something great. I don't know what it is. Scale my business. Oh, I lost a client. Oh, this and that, like whatever. But do something great today, regardless. And like, yes, there are ups and downs every single day.
Yeah. Some days you're not going to feel like it, you know? But the difference between a lot of us is that self-motivation.
Yes.
So I don't need somebody else to get me moving.
No.
I never have. If I want it, I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
It's been like that way with business, women, bodybuilding.
Yeah.
If I want it, I'm getting it.
So my brother, we hit way over an
Oh,
hour,
man.
my man. So brother, I want to be very, very respectful of your time. So like my very, very last question, in your experience of entrepreneurship, business, fatherhood, what's probably the most valuable lesson that you can pass on to the listeners that you've learned in all experience in all of your years of life?
Man, that's not an easy one, bro. Sum it all up. But I would just say find your passion and relentlessly attack your passion at a young age, man. You know, put the blinders on, especially the young kids, male and female, you know. Stop going out to the bars in your 20s. I wish I could have told myself that, right? Don't go to the bars in your 20s and be wasting money on cocktails and being hungover the next day when you could start some sort of online business, you know? Put some work in now to reap the benefits later on in life that are really going to be, you know, massive life-changing benefits.
Yeah.
I just want to see the work ethic again. I want to see some of these kids working hard. And we got some smart kids, man.
Mm-hmm.
This country has got some beautiful, beautiful minds.
Let's just keep it up. Let's keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
let's promote each other. Let's motivate each other. Let's build each other.
Bro, that's why you're here, my man. Like I see you, I bump into you. That is essential, my man. Like people like you need to be put out there, my man. You know, because
appreciate that.
what I like to do is promote other people.
Yeah.
You know, because what you said, when you help other people, God blesses you tremendously.
Fact.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brother, are there any last statements that you'd like to give for the podcast?
You know, I would love for you guys to come on down to the shop, visit some of my social media for some other, you know, nutrition tips and stuff like that. And just take care of each other, you know. Let's build these communities up. Let's show love to one another.
Yeah.
Let's take care of each other. Let's get each other happy and healthy. And, you know, it's not as bad as it is on social media.
Yeah.
It's
quite
okay in our
simple.
communities, and we just need to take love and take care of our communities.
Thank you all again for tuning into today's episode. If you got a lot of value out of this, please do me a favor and support the channel by liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing. And if you're looking for high quality supplements followed by a ton of knowledge, then please go visit Chris's supplement store, Lost Performance in San Jose, California, and get your fitness journey started with the right guidance. Thank you all again for the support. I'll see you next time. Stay loving, stay hungry, and stay excellent.